Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Life is in Our podcast with me, Maggie. So, we started a segment last week about talking about the things that caught my attention, and today is very simple. I'm just gonna read you a passage that truly caught my attention during my read. During a read that I just got, 101 essays that will change the way you think. And yeah, so this one, it's a long one, but bear with me because woof, it's something. So, and today's affirmation will be I am good enough. I am good enough, full stop. I am good enough. You are good enough. And I start, um, your faults are forgivable and your abilities are more exceptional. Believing that you are less responsible for your misgivings and that you are more exceptionally skilled at your skill is a mindset to which many people default, but it ultimately just keeps you small. If you do not acknowledge the magnitude of your poor choices you've made, you're bound to justify in doing them again. If you live and act through, you can slide by because you're ever so slightly better than everyone else. You'll never actually try. So the title is Your Faults Are More Forgivable and Your Attributes Are More Exceptional. Whoa. I'm not even gonna add anything. Listen to this part here. If you don't acknowledge the magnitude of your poor choices that you have made, you're bound to justify them again. And if you live and act as though you can slide by because you're ever so slightly better than anyone else, you'll never actually try. Oh my god. Yeah, that definitely caught my attention. It is very common every now and then to feel like life is happening to you instead of with you. You know, when in a moment you feel like you're lagging behind, your goals are not aligning, you're not achieving your routines, you feel like you do not have your life back together. And it's very common, and there's nothing wrong about it. What is wrong about it is you recognizing that you do not have your life put together and end up doing the same thing over and over again. I am a victim. Sometimes you feel like you do not want to do anything, but at the end of the day, you are filled with so much regret that you do not understand why. Why wouldn't I have just gone for that work, or why wouldn't I have just journaled and done something? So I want to encourage you and tell you, that this is the first quarter, it's coming to an end. You need to forgive yourself for the goals that you did not achieve. Some are way beyond um, what you could have done, some were just out of your reach, and now it's time to get your life back together and just get out there and do something. So let's just get our lives together today with Life is in Our podcast. I think sometimes we just don't want to be lazy and have our lives all over the place. Sometimes we just want to put our life back together, but we do not know what is causing us to lag behind and not do what we're supposed to do. So the first thing you should try and before you start saying, I want to make my life together, I want to sleep early and do all those good things, you need to understand why. What's the trigger? What's holding you back? Talk to someone, journal, and just be completely honest with yourself. Is it the feeling of failure? Is it the feeling of incompetence? Is it imposter syndrome? What is actually making you feel like you are lagging behind? Once you address that, then you'll be now able to put in place measures to help you overcome that. So I before we go now to all the steps that you can use to get your life back together slowly by slowly, just know you need to address what is that you're putting off, what is that's in the back of your head that is making you feel like you do not have your life together fast, you know? One, I am very, very big on routines. There's been an episode of why you need a routine, and routines are very, very important, especially when you're trying to establish a habit. And you want to be a morning person, or you want to be put together. You need something, a step procedure in which that you can follow so that you can achieve that one goal. So, for instance, you need a morning routine and an evening routine. Those two things are very key. And it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as I wake up, I brush my teeth, I take a shower, I meditate, I do some stretches, I go make myself breakfast, prepare my work clothes, and go to work at this time, at this time, at this time. Very simple. It doesn't have to be like the 10-step skincare routine or those complicated things that you see on social media. You just need to start simple and just build up on your routine. A second one is the evening routine. It's something as simple as coming off work, getting off your clothes, and going to the shower, and now just relaxing and unwinding kind of a routine. As simple that is not complicated can really, really put you in a track to getting your life back together. I do not want to complicate this for us, because getting your life together, it just means that you just lived. It's not like you're failing and you're not doing anything. It's just a setback, and now you just want to get into the hang of things. You want to have this put together kind of a situation so that you can be able to achieve more and be more efficient and effective, just showing up more for yourself. So one of those things that you need to do for yourself is just show up for yourself. Show up for yourself in three categories: in your health, one, mental health, in two, in your physical health, and three, in your work life balance. Showing up for yourself in those three things, just learning how to be healthy and eating healthy and being aware of what you're putting into your body, because some of the foods that we eat when you're in our funky, like, I do not feel like doing anything today, you are what you ingest is, it regulates the amount of energy that you put out there in the world. Some foods make you feel extremely lazy and bumped down. Food is just energy givers, and they stimulate your brain. So just being aware of what you put in your mind and mouth, it's very, very important. Another thing is just how you taking walks and just being interactive and checking up on yourself. That is your mental health. You may not be able to afford therapy, but if you can afford therapy, it's the best way to go about it. But if you can't afford therapy, um, journal, check in with yourselves. Like, if you're going through something, just check in with yourself. How am I feeling? How am I why am I feeling like this today, and how can I address it? Steps. Research, research, research. Out here we have so much and so much research that you can do to get your life back together. So it's very, very important to look at those three things. Another thing, your work-life balance, is just knowing when to stop, when to not pick up that phone call, because you know the amount of anxiety and triggers that it's gonna bring. Just balancing between your work and your life, family. Just I had someone say, like, there's no such thing as balance, but to some extent it's true, because it's just you just put in here and put in there. It's just putting amounts and amounts here and there. But if it's work, it's work time, focus on work. If it's life, it's time to leave, like leave it up, just be on yourself and not schedule. You're not on a work schedule, then only then you're able to put a boundary. So just put up boundaries for yourself. Of late, I've been getting a lot of recommendation from YouTube and Instagram on people just starting over in their 30s, 40s, 25. People are just starting over. And people are just starting over. And it got me thinking, me, Maggie. host of Life is an App podcast, of course. I could be stuck in some situation because I just can't find myself wanting to start. But sometimes putting your life to but sometimes putting your life together means making very hard decisions that and just cutting off things that are holding you back. It could be your family, it could be your relationship, it could be anything. Just cut off those things that are weighing you down and pushing you and making you feel like you're not achieving in life. Sometimes it could be something as simple as social media. There's a lot of comparison in the social media world, and you feel like you're not achieving something because people are doing the most and you're not doing anything. So that's a trigger. So just stay away from those things until you figure out what you want in life, until you figure out what you want with your life, and now you can start from there. Capish? Capish. So that is one of those tips that you just need to start over. Be embrace starting over, and sometimes starting over is not a bad thing. I'm about to tell that to myself. So yeah, so let's just start. Be comfortable with starting over and not feeling like failure and like we're not doing it. You know, we're not doing it and we're not achieving it. Just let's get comfortable with starting over. And it might be very uncomfortable, but I've come to learn that sometimes starting over isn't such a bad thing. So getting your life together might simply means just starting all over again, you know. One big one is let's avoid procrastination. Procrastination is the killer of dreams. Quote me, don't quote me, but procrastination is truly, truly the killer of dreams. If you're procrastinating and you're moving task forward, it means the things that you could have done, you're putting them to tomorrow. And there's this amazing quote that I had from this girl from Instagram, and she said, procrastination is you assuming that God will give you tomorrow. Like, how insane is that? Procrastination is the ignorance that God will give you tomorrow. Like, you're just assuming, and you have this ignorance that thinking that tomorrow is assured. Tomorrow is assured. Well, tomorrow is not assured. So procrastination is one of those ways. Getting rid of it or managing your procrastination is one of those things that if you manage them and you're able to avoid them, you can be able to start getting your life back together for the second and third quarter. One more thing is your vision board was good. Your vision board is lovely. You are in the high of creating your vision board. You need to go and revisit your vision board and see whether where you are right now and the things that you want to achieve is aligned with what you wanted to achieve when you started the year. So you need to revise your vision board if you had one, or your goals if you had one, in case you're not achieving them, because you could be putting yourself so much pressure, but because of how things are and how things are turning out, the vision board is not vision boarding. so so you need to just give yourself grace, and just start small, and just revise it and put goals that you really want to achieve and just work towards them. And yeah, life is just getting it back together. It's all about piecing the pieces and just making it make sense. Just like we call this podcast, it's life is not. And most of the art just don't make sense. But at the end of the day, when you look at it from a different angle, or when you look at it from the artist angle, then you get to pick up two or three things from it. So yeah, so I just want us to get our life back together, to get ourselves back on track, to get ourselves off this funky mood and um wave of disappointment in ourselves, and just know that we have a chance to start over at any particular point. Imagine someone starting a company at 70. 70, like, how long do you have to live to see that company thriving? So just start over. Just start again. Just start over. Thank you so much for Listening to Life is an Hour podcast. Thank you for the new listeners. Thank you for the emails. You really encourage me to keep on creating each and every single week for you. And I hope you can reach out to your friend and share a podcast with them and see whether they can get two or three if you feel like they can benefit from this podcast. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next week. Bye. This is Life is an Art with me, Mikey.